if you take into account the technological improvements and you put your crystal ball in front of you, Bill, how long before you believe a majority of the planet's energy is coming from post-carbon renewable sources?
If we do all that we can, by at least the middle of the next decade, maybe sooner. But that said, there are forces trying to keep us from getting there, and they're most prominent in the United States, where under the Trump administration, we're now all but banning solar and especially wind power. We just shut down big, almost completed wind farms off the coast of Rhode Island and Massachusetts. So there's a real fight underway here. And your question is really the key question, because if we're worried about climate change, pace is the thing that matters most. 30 years from now, I have no doubt that we're going to run the planet on sun and wind simply because of economics. But if it takes us anything like 30 years to get there, then the planet we run on sun and wind is going to be a broken planet. But now we have a technology that allows us to at least think about how we might move in that direction. And you can watch it starting to happen in China. China, which has embraced this wholeheartedly, embraced what, remember, is an American technology. I mean, the first solar cell was built in Edison, New Jersey in 1954. The first commercial wind turbine was 30 miles south of my house in Vermont in the 1940s. But it's China that's become the world's first electro state. And it's not just that they're great at now building fast, big solar and wind installations. It's that they're learning how to use that flood of cheap, clean energy to run everything around them. The best example, of course, is e-vehicles and e-bikes. Half the cars sold in China last month came with a plug hanging out the back. And that's quickly defining the automotive market, especially for the developing world. We think Detroit is the center of the automotive world, but actually it's 3 cities in China whose names are hard to pronounce.
Absolutely. I take no issue with what you're saying about how much China has invested, is planning to continue to invest in these technologies. I do see, though, that China continues to also build a lot of additional coal plants. And I mean, when I look at artificial intelligence and China's data centers, which are going to be incredibly energy thirsty, best estimates I get from people that understand this is that most of that AI is going to be powered in China by coal. And in the United States, it's going to come from gas. So what do we do about that?
I think probably not in the case of China anyway. They build some new coal capacity, but they're actually burning less coal than they did. And the coal is the second or third tier power that they go to if they're run short of solar or wind, because it's more expensive. So those plants are idle a lot of the time. Now in the US, if we're going to go ahead with building big data centers, and I guess it looks like we are, despite the fact that I think it's pretty unclear just how valuable that technology is turning out to be. If we're going to do it, the only way we can do it is to build them with sun and wind. You can't build fast enough to keep up with the pace of those things. And that's what we're finding out in this country this year. The price of electricity is up 10% across America so far in 2025. That's because we have an increase in demand from things like data centers, and we've artificially constrained the supply because the president has said we're not going to build sun and wind. So look, you don't have to be a Nobel Prize economist to know that if demand goes up and you constrain supply, price is going to be the place where that makes the difference. It's why I think that eventually we will blink here and start building renewable energy fast, because if we don't, then 10 years from now, the U.S. will be the colonial Williamsburg of internal combustion, where those tourists who can still get a visa come to gawk at how people used to live in the olden days, But I think before that we will blink because we'll figure out that we can't really have a competitive economy if our major input energy costs more than everybody else's.